This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
1975, and a surviving foothold in Asia until Macau was returned to China in 1999. What remains territorially are only the Azores and Madeira, but what also remains, both in Portugal and more widely, is the legacy of a world empire, indeed of a particular type of world empire, a conflation of people, food, ideas, language, religion, culture, and an opening up to the outside that has left Portugal very different from much of southern Europe, including those other imperial powers, Spain and Italy. As England's oldest ally, Portugal benefited from English help in the bloody tasks of conquering Lisbon from Moorish rule in 1147 and in opposing Castile in the 14th century. English longbowmen played a crucial part in the warfare of the 1380s, and notably in the Battle of Aljubarrota in 1385. The English went on to play a key military role in Portuguese history in the 1580s, 1660s, 1700s, 1760s, 1808 to 1813, and the 1820s, whereas in the 1580s, Philip II of Spain was accepted by a substantial part of Portuguese society. From the 1660s, English musketeers continued the early role of the archers in helping to secure Portugal's liberties. Portugal remained an important ally for Britain, and the British wish that Portugal would accept this role was generally, but not always, reciprocated. Portugal was even an informal member of the British Empire throughout the 19th century, albeit a forced one, as when George Canning remarked, "Portugal must always be English." Indeed, the ultimatum in 1890, as we will hear in Chapter 10, was scarcely the product of a harmonious agreement over goals. Trade was very important to Anglo-Portuguese relations, economic and political. This trade took English, later British, goods to Portugal, notably woolen cloth from the Middle Ages and coal in the 19th century. From Portugal and its empire came most famously port and gold, the former leaving a noted legacy in the repertoire of British drinks, the latter from Brazil, important to the solvency of the British Empire in the 18th century. More recently, large-scale British tourism has developed, notably to the Algarve. Alongside the sun, beaches and golf there, Portugal for the British also means the major cruise stops in Lisbon, Oporto, Madeira and the Azores, the development of cruise holidays on the Douro, and city breaks to Lisbon and Oporto. Each of these have become popular. Moreover, it seems apparent that British tourism will remain important to the Portuguese. Past affection. On the 13th of May, 1762, the London Chronicle reported, "There is no state upon earth of which the Portuguese entertain so high an opinion as of ours, nor any people of whom they think or speak as well as of the English, whether in a collective sense as a nation, or an individual one as traders, while there are no nations or people which they equally hate with the French and Spaniards, so that in spite of all their blind bigotry in religion, by which they are made to hate us as heretics, as a state or as traders, their own interest and experience have attached them to us in the strongest manner." National stereotypes are always dangerous, if not misleading, and reading those of the past is to be struck by how much they date. Equally, it is worth noting the very frequent contrasting by British travellers of the Portuguese with the Spaniards, and always to the favour of the former, who are generally presented as more relaxed and more friendly, the two being closely linked. The history of Portugal's regions reflects in part their distinctive character and also the interest of this very varied country. From the mountainous north to the cliffs and beaches of the Algarve in the south, from the mainland to the islands, Portugal is well worth visiting. The regions have the common history that is Portugal, but also different experiences, and their varied background provides tourists with a happy diversity within a relatively small space. Moreover, although some of the driving can be frightening and minor roads can be poor,